how the audio is. Yeah. So I'm sitting down in a restaurant behind me, but I wanted to show you guys the beach so y'all know I'm really out here because, otherwise y'all think it's cap. Y'all won't know where I'm at. So I wanted to show it to you right now. So this is the sea behind me. And it's a beautiful day, man. It's gorgeous out here. So if you guys were wondering about Cape Verde, I know there's a lot of curiosity about it. This is what it looks like. So right behind me, you can rent jet skis over here. And surfboards, if you're a surfer, you want to do that thing, you can do that thing. Yeah. Okay. Let's take a look at the waves. That is another kind of blue. I don't even know what level blue that is. It's almost like a candy licorice type of a color. I don't think I've ever seen water quite that blue. Yo, Black Label Expat in the building. What it do, homie? I'm out here. Let me change the angle of the camera because I'm holding the camera and it's hard to do it. So I'm just gonna flip it here in a second. And that should make things a little bit easier because I'm right-handed, guys. Okay, there we go. I'm right-handed, so that's a lot easier. I can talk a lot. So over here right now, it's about 4 o'clock. It just turned 4 o'clock. As you can see, there's a lot of people out here on the beach, but not like on the weekend. On Sunday, imagine whatever you see right now, but times 6 or something. So right now I'm sitting over here where you can see the like the parasols and the beach chairs. I'm at that restaurant right there. I ordered some grilled fish and I'm just waiting for them to make it. So I'm gonna have to go back there in a second. But I want to show you guys a little bit of how the beach is, how everything is set up over here. So this is a pretty long beach. I think you can walk the whole thing in about 12 minutes, like from end to end. And it's mainly locals here. I would say you're gonna see maybe 75% locals and then like 25% tourists mixed in here. Cape Verde women versus Ethiopian women. All right, let me sit down so I can address that because it's hard to walk and do this at the same time. This is my first time live streaming from a beach and it's kind of windy. I hope the audio is good. I hope you guys can hear me loud and clear. But I will say they're very different. If you want to talk about Cape Verdean females, then you would have to compare them to Brazil or DR. You couldn't really compare them with Ethiopia because, as you guys know, Ethiopia is a very conservative culture. And over there, things usually take a little bit longer to get the result that you're looking for. It's more of a place, if you're going to be there for a month, 2 months, 3 months, that's how you're really going to get the value out of Ethiopia. But a place like here, a place like the Caribbean, Brazil, things move a lot faster. Y'all know what I'm trying to say, right? So you got to have that in mind when you're coming out this way. Or rather, if you're going to Ethiopia, right? Because here, things move faster. Y'all know what I'm trying to say, right? So I just want to make sure that is clear for you guys. Any more questions? Any more questions here? Because I'm trying to freestyle and I'm like, I don't know exactly what you guys want to know. I can just talk, but then you're not going to have, I may not get to the answers that you're looking for at the moment. I will let you guys know a little bit about the costs here. The costs are very reasonable. If you want to going to pay for your hotel, for your accommodations, Airbnb, about $50 a night, and that's for a really nice place. Maybe even less. Honestly, you can get away with $40. I would say pretty much on any of the islands you can find something to a good standard, Wi-Fi, hot water. It's actually modern. If you consider this an African country, I don't, but a lot of people fit in with Africa. If you do, I would say that yeah, here it's very modern infrastructure. It's not quite Western, but like just one level below that. So everything works. You don't have to worry about blackouts. Hot water works. The infrastructure is really good. You got buses that run for like 50 cents. Like the bus I took to get to this beach from the center, 50 cents. I could have walked here from where I'm staying at in like 15 minutes. But I was like, I didn't really want to spend, time walking when it's hot right now. But if I want to when it's cooler, I can walk back. It just kind of really depends how things are going. What else? So the food you're gonna pay about like $10 for a meal, $10 to $12. You want some fresh food, seafood like grilled or whatever. You're gonna pay like $12 for that. Drink maybe $2, $3 depending on. But overall, man, the costs are really, really reasonable. Probably Kenya, like Mombasa, probably about the same prices for everything across the board as Mombasa. But one thing here is they don't have Uber, or they don't have any kind of rideshare apps. But there's taxis on the street all day long, so you don't really miss it. You don't really need it. You can just put your hand out 12 o'clock at night, 12 in the afternoon. There's always taxis that are moving, and they're reasonable. And during the day, you got the buses, so you're good to go with that. Is this your favorite African country so far? No, it's not my favorite. I don't really have a strong favorite, man. I know that's kind of hard to believe, but honestly, I feel like every African country does one or two things very well, but there's none of them that like, okay, this one is just leagues above all the other ones in every category. You feel me? So it's hard for me to just, just crown anybody the king in Africa. But I will say, if you put a gun to my head and I had to crown somebody the king, I would reluctantly give it to Kenya. And that's just because Kenya's not landlocked. Like Ethiopia is great. I love Ethiopia, but it's landlocked. So you don't have beaches there. And if I had to just only pick one country, it would have to be a country that had beaches as well. I was just in Tanzania. I haven't posted the footage of that yet, but Tanzania is a place I liked a lot. It's different. It's a mix. It's like semi-conservative, but at the same time, the nightlife there is pretty familiar if you're used to some of the Latin American scenes, as far as the music and the way people like to party and do other activities. Like it's similar to that. If y'all follow me. Ozzy in the building. What's up, man? Ozzy coming through, always supporting. Good to see you out here, man. This live can go as long as you guys want it to go. I didn't come here prepared with anything, but I was just like, I don't know too many dudes who did lives from Cape Verde, so I wanted to make sure I did one while I'm out here, while I'm at the beach, while I'm enjoying this very beautiful day. How long have I been here? So I've been here over a week. So we could say, a little bit over a week I've been here in Cape Verde. So I have a pretty good feel for it. This is the second island I've been to. You've got two islands that are the primary ones, right? That actually have a big population. I think in total, you got like 9 islands in the whole country. You're really only gonna wanna go to 2 or 3 of them. There's one that's super touristy. It's called Sal, S-A-L, which is the same word for salt in Spanish. It's a salty island. It's very flat, but it's very known for beaches. Literally all that's there is beaches. So a lot of European tourists, they will fly there directly and just chill on the beach for a couple of days, for a weekend or whatever. I wasn't really interested in that one because there's not as much culture. You feel me? So y'all know what I'm trying to say. I wanted to hit up the ones that have more population and more culture. And so that's why I'm over here right now. I'm in an island. It's called São Vicente. Okay. I got some full-length videos coming that will break all this stuff down. But just trying to give you guys a quick overview. You'll get to see everything on the streets. My full opinion, because I can't give you guys my full opinion right now because I'm still here. But when I'm done, I can really process everything. So we got Astronomic says, please start doing IRL. I don't know what that means. Please start doing in real life. What does IRL mean? What are you talking about? Please start doing IRL. I can't follow that too much. Okay, Ozzy said, what's the biggest pros and cons of Cape Verde so far? So the biggest pros are the lifestyle. It's a melanated island, and I blend in here very well. You know, there's certain countries, like let's say Uganda, for example, that I really like Uganda, but I don't blend in Uganda at all. You know what I'm saying? You can say that about several other countries in Africa that I've been to. But here, everybody thinks I'm from here. They speak to me in the local language. And there's a warmth there, you know, because these islands don't have big populations. The biggest island, the population is, I think, 160K, 150K, something like that. So very small. That's like a suburb of most American cities. So that is the biggest pro and also the biggest negative, you feel me? Because it can feel too small sometimes. But the positive of that is that it's also, you know, that community feel, that family vibe where you go to the same restaurant 3 times, everyone knows you, you know. You go to the same gym 3 times, everyone in the gym knows you. You know what I'm saying? So depending on what you're looking for, it could be right for somebody. I don't think for me it's a place to stay long term, but it's a very nice vacation if you've never been. It's definitely a cool place if you want to bring, you know, your old lady, your girl out this way. Just have a really nice cultural beach vacation. The music too. I didn't mention this. Like the music in Cape Verde is very special. You know what I'm saying? Like they have music almost 24/7, and I mean live music. Like every night there's some kind of event, there's some kind of live music, there's dancing. They do capoeira, they do like practice for the carnival, like in Brazil. They have the blocos in Brazil where they, you know, they practice and they do the drums and everything down the street and get ready for the main event. They do the same thing here on this island. So any day of the week, you can hear live music, jazz, all that kind of stuff. All that culture is very strong here. You'd be surprised. And I like the accessibility because you can go most places on foot here if your place is anywhere near the center. And it's just relaxing, man. It's really cool. It's like a mini Brazil minus the crime. Not saying you can't get got here like anywhere, but I think because the islands are smaller and people kind of know everyone, it's not really that type of culture as much. So, you know, that being said, I think that kind of wraps up the question. All right, IRL, the live video you're doing now. Yeah, that's what I said, IRL. I figured in real life, right? The live ones. Well, I'll do more of these lives if they're supported. You know what I'm saying? This is the first one I've done in about a month. I think the last one I did, I didn't give people a lot of notice. So maybe that's why that one wasn't really supported like that. But it really depends on the audience, man. If I'm getting a lot of support, a lot of people tuning in for the lives, then I'll do more lives. But if people aren't really messing with the lives, then I'll just do what I've been doing. You feel me? All right. So Jacoby says Cape Verde must be nice. It's cool, man. I kind of broke it down, but yeah, there's definitely some positives about being here. I can see the appeal. I was actually talking to a brother from the Midwest in the States, and he was living out here, right? So this brother went really deep into culture. He lived out here for like 3 years, and he was kind of coaching me before I came out here. So I didn't come out here blind. And I see how, you know, somebody who's sick of the busy lifestyle, the hustle and bustle, they just want to chill, put their feet up, be part of a community, and, you know, enjoy the sun, enjoy music, enjoy life. They would come out here and just really be in their element. But that being said, the language is a bit of a barrier because English is not spoken very much here. So you're going to want to learn or be open to practicing Portuguese out here because the Portuguese they speak out here is not even like the pure European or the pure Brazilian Portuguese. It's a Creole, right? So they use different words, and you're not going to be able to understand everyone, even if you know really good Portuguese when you get off the plane. Now that being said, you can learn it just like you got Haitian Creole, you got Jamaican Creole, which are different versions of English and different versions of French, but it is its own language. You feel me? So people will understand you fine though if you speak just standard Portuguese, so you don't have to worry about that. And if you're in any kind of a touristy environment or whatever, they're used to people speaking English, restaurants, etc., hotels, Spanish too. Spanish will help you a little bit depending on, and surprisingly even French, because they get French tourists out here as well. And yeah, I found French speakers. I was shocked. So, all right, let me catch up with the chat. Let's see. Welcome to Cape Verde, a country that also speaks Portuguese with Angola and Mozambique. Yeah, man. Shout out to my Angolan audience. You guys have been holding me down. I really appreciate you guys. I can't even talk, man. My lips getting dry out here. I really appreciate you guys, and I wanted to show you guys as many Portuguese-speaking countries in Africa that I could. So far, I've gone to Cape Verde, Angola, and Mozambique, all on this channel. So I'm checking those boxes, and hope you guys are enjoying it. Let's see. Big Guapo says, I imagine you blend in there, bro, but how would the typical Black American do there? They show us love. I heard they dislike other darker Africans. Okay, that's a good question. So the guy I was telling you guys about who coached me before I came out here, he's much darker than me. He's kind of like, I won't say as dark as a Kevin Hart, but closer to that than to my complexion. And he really enjoyed it here. He was able to learn the language. Obviously if he didn't like it, he wouldn't have stayed, as long as he did end up staying here. So I don't think that's as much of a problem. Also the fact that you are from the States, that's gonna come out sooner or later. But I'm not gonna lie to you and say that at first glance, if you do look like a Kevin Hart or something, they are gonna think that you're straight up from West Africa at first glance. But after, they see the way you move, etc., then they're gonna figure it out that you're not. Okay, let's see what else. Cabo Verdeano é muito difícil. Yeah, it's different, man. That Creole, I can't understand it when they speak really, really fast. For me, it's challenging. You know what I'm saying? So it's something that I have to work with. But if you know the basic stuff, you're not gonna have to struggle too hard. The numbers are the same. The days of the week are the same. All that basic, elementary stuff is going to be like it is in any other Portuguese speaking place. All right, Black Label Expat coming through, supporting the hustle, supporting the muscle, supporting me out here on the beach, getting you all that live, raw, uncut footage. Yeah, let's go. All right, Young Villain, videos are fire. Appreciate you, homie. I know you've been following for a while, so I try to do it and show you guys something different, man, that everyone ain't showing you. How many countries have you visited so far? I've been to, it's around 80. I'm not sure if it's 82. I'm not sure if it's 80 even, but it's in the low 80s. Okay. So Spaces and Places says there are dark Cape Verdeans as well. Absolutely. Yeah, there are plenty of dark Cape Verdeans. Some they look no different than any West African. There are plenty of them. Because when you think about it, their roots came from West Africa originally, and of course they mixed a lot of them, but then some of them didn't as well. Same as in Brazil. You have some really dark Black Brazilians. Do I see a lot of melanated folks out there? Absolutely. That's all that's out here, man. You've got maybe 15% tourists at any given time, I would say, at least in this month. And a lot of the tourists are from Spain. Like I've heard a lot of Spanish today. European Spanish, not like, Latin American. And I think that's pretty much the majority. And then you also have French, you have some Dutch, a lot of Dutch girls, mainly girl tourists, honestly, is what I've seen. I've seen more or heard more female tourists. I've seen some older white European tourists, like Portuguese, but they usually are moved up. Let's see what else we got. J. Kobe, come through supporting. Appreciate you, homie. Great content as always. Yeah, man, I'm trying to do it for y'all. Show y'all something else. What else? What other questions we got? I'm squinting, man, because the sun is in my face. What did you enjoy before traveling? What did I enjoy before traveling? So I've been traveling pretty much my whole adult life. You know, ever since I was 18, I got the travel bug. You know, I didn't have a passport before I was 18. I got it right when I turned 18, essentially. And since then, I just been moving, man. And I've been experiencing seeing the world bit by bit. Give you guys a little bit of a recap, but I started off in Latin America, Mexico, all the way down, Caribbean, DR, all that good stuff. And after that, I expanded to Asia, then after Southeast Asia. After that, I started with Europe, and then after Europe, I left the best for last, hit Africa, and then Australia. You know, so that was the order I did the continents in. And if I could change it, I wouldn't change it. I think that's kind of the best way to do it, because you can start in Latin America for cheap. Then when you have a little more money, you can move towards Southeast Asia. Then Europe is really expensive versus those other places. So you got to have a little bit more bread out there, unless you're going way East Europe. And then Africa is also very expensive, depending how you move. But in general, I would say it's more expensive than Latin America and more expensive than Asia. And then finally, you've got, you know, Australia. It's kind of moderate, about the same as the States, maybe a little bit cheaper than the States. And that's pretty much it. All right. What other questions we got? Bro, is that necklace the tiger's eye stone? This one here? No, this is actually, I believe it's turquoise, if I'm not mistaken. I forget, but it's smooth as hell. Like, you can tell this is genuine. I got this in Africa, close to where they mine it at. So this is not like some, I don't know, like some store in the mall. This is like straight from the source. So this, like, to me, it's not even about the cost of the things you wear. It's more the story behind it, and the realness, like the uncut, the minerals of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're wearing diamonds, that's one thing, but it's another thing if you got your diamonds in the Congo. You feel me? So yeah, I try to, like, if I wear stuff, I try to have something that has a story behind it, not just something I can pick up in any mall in America or somewhere else. Okay. So wow, we've been going for almost 25 minutes now. So I think they brought me my food, because I ordered some grilled codfish, and I told them I'm gonna walk on the beach, I'm gonna come back. So I'm gonna go check on my food, y'all, because I haven't really eaten today. I gotta make sure that the food is there. So we're gonna walk the beach a little bit, and then we're gonna do a lap and come back around to where the restaurant is. So yeah, man, I wish I could show you guys all the sights I'm seeing, man. It's pretty ridiculous out here. It's just a beautiful day. You got the mountains behind me, and you got palm trees all around. Normally they have a volleyball court over here, but you can't really see it now. Nobody's doing it, but on Sunday, everybody was out here. You know, they was getting it in. Another thing you guys can do here is you can rent, I mentioned the jet skis in the beginning of the live stream, but also you can rent scooters. The scooters are cheap. You can rent them for like $30 a day if you want the small scooter, like the 125. If you want the 400, like some real horsepower, that's gonna run you like 40, but it's still not bad considering everything. And that's with, you know, full tank and everything. And it's very informal too. They let you rent with just, you can pay cash. If you don't want to use your card, you can just give them a deposit of like 100, 120 in cash, and you can just rent like that. So they're very flexible, very friendly. Dudes speak English and everything at the place that I went to, the agency. So y'all already know, man. Like I said, I wish I could give you guys the angles right now, but the way this camera's set up, they won't let me put it live. They won't let me put it on the widescreen. I have to hold it in the portrait mode, right? So because of that, I can only show you so much. It's kind of limited, but when the videos drop, you guys are gonna see a lot more than what I can show you guys right now too. You feel me? But yeah, you're gonna be able to judge for yourself, you know what I mean, whether or not they live up to the hype or whatever it is, you know what I mean? Because I got my opinion, y'all might have a different opinion than me. But I will do a full breakdown, I promise you guys. It's gonna be called, you know, who should go to Cape Verde and who shouldn't go to Cape Verde. It's gonna be something like that. So I'm gonna give you guys both angles. I'm gonna play devil's advocate so you guys can determine for yourselves whether or not this is worth it or not. It's gonna be even more detailed. Okay. So would you say everyone under 30 can speak English? Hell nah. Hell nah. No, sir. Absolutely not. This is not Europe. Everyone under 30 cannot speak English. I would say, same in Angola. Everyone under 30 cannot speak English. Now, it's a class thing where people who are more well-traveled, more educated, yeah, they're going to speak multiple languages. But your average everyday person, 24, 25, unless they work in tourism, unless they're a waiter or, you know, directly facing foreigners in their occupation every single day, they just don't really have a need for it. Because of the isolation of this place, like all the media they get is not going to be in English. So yeah, I don't think they ever get a chance to practice or even really care about English like that. That's one of the things that once you get outside of the States, you realize that, you know, things aren't as Anglo-centric, American-centric as you might expect them to be. Now, of course, in Latin America, it's different because they're all just trying to move up north. But in other places, it's just so far away that they're disconnected from it. All right. The scenery is amazing. Any more Angolan videos? Yes, I've got at least one more Angolan video coming, so I hope you guys support that one. It's coming this week. I'm not gonna make y'all wait any longer. It's ready to go. What else? Yeah, the water is, man, I don't think this camera's even doing it justice because it's not 4K right now. The videos I just shot are gonna be in 4K, so you will really see the quality of everything that I've been trying to talk to you guys about. How colonized is Cape Verde compared to South Africa? That's a good question, man. I see you be coming with great questions, and I'm not just saying that. Like, okay, I will say that from what I've seen, they're really mentally, I don't think they really are colonized. From what I've seen, I don't see any, you know, worship of the colonizer here like that. I think, of course, you know, some of them are aspiring for the opportunities that come from Western countries, but I don't see them losing their identity on any level. Like, I was in Lisbon, Portugal, and there's plenty of Cape Verdean restaurants there. And when I went in there, I mean, of course, you know, I'm no expert. This is just me as a tourist in these places. But when I was there, it just seemed like they had their own community. They had their own thing. They didn't try to assimilate to the greater Portuguese, the greater European culture. It was like, we're going to take our beach culture, we're going to take our music, our energy, our vibe, and we're going to transport that with us. Versus, like, one thing I noticed in Spain is a lot of Latinas who go to Spain, they will try to become Spanish. Like, they will even change their accent and start trying to, you know, speak like the Spaniards. They will, the vast majority of them will date Spanish guys, the European ones, and a lot of them, they don't want anything to do with people who aren't white or very close to white. Not all of them, of course, but far too many of them. Colombians, I'm looking at you. Dominicans, I'm looking at you. That's what I've noticed when they get to Europe, where, like I said, Cape Verdeans, from what I've seen in Lisbon, they don't really have that same kind of energy. And I think that's because here, their minds aren't as colonized. They realize that they are like a mixed population, and they're securing that identity. I guess you could compare it to Puerto Rico in a sense, because most people would say Puerto Ricans, they're not really colonized mentally. Of course, you have your outliers. I mean, it's a big group of people, but in general, compared to other Latinos in the States, Puerto Ricans, especially in the East Coast, they're much more woke, for lack of a better word, compared to some other groups, right? So y'all get what I'm trying to say. So I would say they're doing better here with that than a lot of other places. Okay, so does Cape Verde feel more like Angola, Brazil, or Portugal? It feels nothing like Portugal, so forget that one. Angola, Brazil. The thing about Brazil is so big, so it's hard to really, you got North Brazil, which is more dark. You got South Brazil, which is like wannabe Europe Brazil. I would say the beach culture is probably closest to Brazil, which kind of makes sense. Now, the way people look too, I would say is probably closer to Brazil because they're a little bit more mixed, even though you have very dark Cape Verdeans as well. So I would say it's slightly closer to Brazil than Angola, if we're talking about the northern, blacker parts of Brazil. But if we're talking about like compared to the southern parts of Brazil, then no, I would say it's closer to Angola culture. All right. The more I hear about South Africa, the more I get disappointed. Yeah, man. We could talk about that on a whole nother live. Yo, Lord, what's good, man? Tapping in. Appreciate it, man. I caught your Japan live the other day. Love Japan. I need to get back out that way, man. Japan is a vibe. I know you're living your best life out there, man. The food, the culture, the females, just across the board, man. Great spot to be. You might catch me in Asia in a minute. But yeah, right now, it's a Cape Verde thing. It's an African thing. So coming back to the restaurant now, I think they served my fish up. It's been like 30 minutes. So it might have got cold, but we're going to see. So over here, they had these parasols, these beach chairs. You can just chill here, sip your drinks, sip your cocktails. All right, so they didn't put my food down on the table yet, but I'm sure it's ready. Like it's probably on the plate, and they're just waiting to, bring it out for when I'm ready for it. So I might have to cut this one. I don't want my food to get too cold. Any last questions, just in case I gotta cut this? What was your favorite city in South Africa? My favorite city in South Africa, I think for baddies, I would say Pretoria in South Africa. That's the best one. I would say Pretoria for the baddies. For just everything, like just for a city, like if you want to be in a huge international spot, I would say Johannesburg. If you're talking about beach culture, Durban for sure. And if you just want to feel like you're in Europe in South Africa, then Cape Town all day. Cape Town is, the most quote unquote modern city in South Africa. Are they checking for brothers? Visual Multimedia says, are they checking for brothers, brother? Okay, brother. Are they checking for brothers? Yes, they are. They're checking for brothers. But I'm going to let y'all know the competition is high. Like, it's like Brazil. You know what I'm saying? Dudes is no slouch out here. They're not scared to approach. They in the gym. And, they melanated brothers like us. So, yeah, there's competition. But, of course, there's always a lane for you. You know what I'm saying? If you present yourself, you're gonna win out here. If you keep presenting yourself, you will win, like anywhere. Okay, I'm South Asian. Do you think it would be hard to fit in SA? No, not really, especially Durban. I don't know if you heard of Durban, but Durban was settled by a lot of South Asian folks from India specifically. So, you would blend right in Durban. And Joburg too, I think you would blend in. Gareth said, what's going on, Jay? Ozzy says, compared to other African countries, most women wear their natural hair. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, way more than most countries. I would say it's rare to find one who's not wearing their natural hair here. Like, it might be like 5% who aren't. Essentially, everybody is wearing their natural hair. That's a good question too. Um, I'd say this is probably one of the top ones where they just rock it natural. Like it's weird to not see natural hair. Okay, how are the women in Angola? I mean, you've seen the Angola content. Maybe you haven't, but they're cool. They're very cool. You do have a high exotic factor out there. You know, being a foreign dude because they're not used to interacting with us like that. But that being said, you need to know Portuguese in Angola for sure. Okay, Uganda versus Kenya nightlife. Kenya, easy. That's an easy one. Um, Uganda, you can have fun out there too. I didn't go so deep in the nightlife in Uganda because the ratios are not very good there. But Kenya, yeah, it just blows it out the water. It's not close. But Uganda's fun too, and you know, there's definitely some lanes out there in Uganda. All right, I'm gonna ask about my fish. Let's see if it's ready. Desculpa. Está pronta. Okay, okay. She said it's coming up. She said it's ready. A pronta. And they speak English too, so I could have asked her in English, just so you guys know. Yeah, for sure, man. It's a beautiful thing, man, when they rock in that natural, and they do all kind of different things with it, man. Some of them they do the curly afros, some of them do the braids, some of them do, you know, like the I don't even know what you call it, like the kind of crimped look, like they do in Brazil sometimes for some of the Afro sisters. But yeah, I pretty much never see weaves out here. Show what you're eating. Yeah, it's coming up. I'm gonna show it to you guys. I think he's new to the channel, Mike D. Bradley. I don't recognize you. Welcome. Okay. I'm from Jamaica. From Jamaica, man. Would probably fit right in here. Yeah, I think you would. Yeah, for sure. Um, I think islands all over the world, especially, you know, melanated islands, you're gonna be straight. If you're from Jamaica, if you're from any other island, I feel like there's an island connection. You know, I'm not an island dude. I wasn't born on an island, but I think if you are, like, if you go to Hawaii, if you go to Tahiti, you go to Cape Verde, wherever, it's just a certain island vibe and energy that even if you don't look exactly like the people, you're just gonna fit in. And a lot of times people think I'm Jamaican. Not here so much, but almost everywhere else I go in Africa, everyone's like, yeah, you Jamaican, dude. And they're disappointed when I say I'm not. So it's definitely a lane in Africa for Jamaican brothers, for sure. What percentage of black people are in Cape Town? Oh man, I got a big bee in my face. I hope I don't get stung on this live. This bee was like this big. I don't know if y'all saw it. Real big bee. What percentage? I think it's like maybe 55% black in Cape Town. There's a lot of white people in Cape Town. So anyone can blend in that city. All right. So I'm just waiting on that fish. I don't know if it comes with anything. I should have asked her, but I'm sure it was freshly caught, right? We got the ocean right behind us. And so far, everything that I had here has been pretty good. I had tuna last night. It was, you know, I think they cooked it in olive oil. It was real tasty. Okay, my guy said I got the Jamaican look, not taking the locks into consideration. Yeah, I can see that, man. We all, you know, if you're from the diaspora, from this side, you know, we more or less look similar. Do you know if Cape Verdeans consider themselves Africans? What about?
Estão só a aquecer porque já estava pronto há muito tempo.
Okay. So she was just saying that the food is coming now. It was ready, and since I wasn't here, they kind of put it away. But she's gonna bring it up. Do they consider themselves African? So I asked a girl yesterday. I had an interview with her. She said she did. I don't know about other people. I might ask some more before I get out of here. What about other island countries like Seychelles and Mauritius? So Mauritius, no, they definitely don't consider themselves African there. If you guys saw any of my content I did on Mauritius, there's a lot of discrimination there, so that's not a place I can recommend. That being said, there is a minority population there that's clearly African origin, but it's not the majority. The majority in Mauritius is of Indian descent from India. Would I say East Africa or South Africa is cheaper overall? So if I was to compare Kenya versus South Africa, I'd say they're very comparable when it comes to prices. Now, other East African countries get more expensive if you're trying to live like a Western lifestyle. So if you're in Ethiopia, if you're in Uganda, and you're trying to live an Eastern lifestyle, then it's going to be much more expensive than in South Africa. So it depends because East Africa is pretty big, but in general, they're more expensive than South Africa is. Rosa V says, hey Jay, you left Angola already. I hope you have fun in Cape Verde, and to let you know, they don't speak much Portuguese. Nah, they don't. They understand it though, which is good, but they speak Creole. Okay, Mike DeBradley says, I'm an RTC elder in the States. I was doing what you're doing before social media back in the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s. All right, shout out to you, a pioneer. That's what's up. So Mike DeBradley, what was your favorite country out of all that you experienced? I know you had to have one that just really stood out. Which one was that? Okay, Young Villain, the top 3 by country, top 3. South Africa, number 1. Number 2, DR. Then number 3, that's tough. That's pretty much anywhere in Africa would be number 3. I would put here in that conversation too. Here could maybe be number 3. It's really tough to say. But yeah, here you wouldn't be disappointed. I can tell you that much. All right, I was trying to show you guys my food before I cut the live, but it still hasn't come out yet. I don't know if they gave mine to somebody else and now they're starting from scratch. It seems like that might be what happened because, if it's ready, it shouldn't really take any more time, right? Because I ordered it over 30 minutes ago. Yeah, Ozzy, pretty much, I co-sign that. Those are good answers. Okay, yeah, I can believe it, man. You were there in the golden age, London in the 90s. That had to be wild. Ghana, 2002. That also had to be wild. Man, I'm sure you got stories for days, man. You gotta have stories. Yeah, I've been to Canada a couple of times. I've been to Toronto. I've been to Victoria, BC. I've been to, of course, Vancouver, BC as well. I went to another city in BC area, but most of my experience in Canada has been BC, British Columbia, and then a little bit in Toronto. So I haven't been to Montreal yet. I heard it's a great place. If I'm out that way, I would swing by, but I'm not going to go out my way. Is that where you're staying right now? I live in BC. There we go. Yeah, BC is a vibe, man. A lot of people, especially in the States, they sleep on BC. They don't know anything about it. And that's probably a good thing, man. You don't want too many, you don't want everybody and their mama coming up there, is what I'm trying to say. So I guess you live in Vancouver. If you're out in BC, or you out in the suburbs somewhere. Young villain. So where would you guys like me to show you on the island? Is there anything in particular that you guys heard about in Cape Verde that you're like, yeah, I want to see some footage of this? Maybe I could do it. I can't promise, but I might be able to swing by it. Okay, you're probably out in Richmond or somewhere thereabouts. Just a guess, I don't know. It's funny, I was actually talking about Vancouver the other day to some of my partners who they were thinking about taking a trip up to Canada. And I was like, if you're gonna start somewhere, don't start in Toronto, start in BC and then kind of work your way east. I think that's the best way to do it, especially because most of us, we don't speak French. You know, we're not gonna be able to access a lot of the culture in Montreal, Quebec area. All right, guys, so my food just came up. Can you guys see it? So we got the codfish and we got the fries. I know you can't really see the fish right now because of the onions. So let me move those out the way. All right, I think you guys can see it now. All right, so that being said, man, I gotta eat. So I appreciate you guys for staying and watching the live this long. I'm gonna do another one. If you guys enjoyed this, go ahead, like the video, and I'll be back.